My name is Briella, and I think my greatest adversity would be loss. I've lost a lot throughout my life. It started with my first dog. He got Lyme disease from a tick when he was 3. He passed when I was 6 or 7.
Oh, yeah.
And Rio, be nice, my other dog's behind the camera. And I just remember, I think that was my first real traumatic event.
Yeah.
I remember going into the hospital and him being hooked up to all sorts of things, and he was paralyzed. He might nip, yeah. He was pretty much paralyzed, but when he saw us, he still wagged his tail.
Oh.
And I just had that very vivid memory, and that was like the first thing that I really went through. And after that, I moved 9 times before I turned 10.
Oh, wow.
After that loss.
What was the hardest part of moving for you?
I think my first house, it was my parents' dream house. They wanted to live there for the rest of their life, and my dad had a very successful business going for him, and it kind of got stolen out from under him by his best friend. It's another whole story in and of itself, but we couldn't afford it anymore, and that house was everything to me as a young child. So I think losing that first one was definitely like the first heartbreak. I didn't want to leave. I didn't understand why we had to leave.
Did it make it hard socially to connect with people? Did you ever get discouraged? Like, I don't need friends, I'm gonna move anyways?
You know what? We kind of moved within the same area. So I had the same group of friends in my first couple of moves. So not so much. I mean, I think that kind of just came, I was a weird kid. So friends were kind of iffy, but I mean, it all worked out in the end. But
Yeah.
I think after moving several times, it got hard to find a place that felt like home and find a place that I felt comfortable to call home and not build an attachment to. I build attachments very easy. I love to love things.
So not having that is traumatic in itself.
Yeah. So finally, after several moves, I mean, I like to say I've lived a very wealthy life, and I've also lived where we're pretty much homeless. So I feel like having that experience and that adversity really built my perspective.
That's incredible, because you can't appreciate good without experiencing the bad.
Absolutely.
And this is a very affluent area, and there's a lot of people that have really never experienced close to homelessness or even being pressed for money. And I think that's important to understand. When the blessings are here and you're flush, you can actually appreciate it.
Oh, 100%. And I think what Sophia was saying about how people aren't going to understand it unless they've been through it, it's a very important thing to understand, because I remember when I would tell people about it and when I would talk to people about it, you know, it would be like, oh, I'm so sorry that happened to you, but I didn't feel relatable. I didn't feel connected to, because it's so true, and it's not a bad thing. You know, people are going to experience their life and progress through life on their own time and their own journey and their own experiences, and some people will go their whole lives without having an open perspective, and it's just how it is, and you can't convince anybody to understand things that they haven't built their own perspectives on. It's just not possible. So you have to be open-minded, you have to be kind, and
If you could tell that little girl who lost her dog and moved a bunch of times by 10 words of encouragement, what would you say to her?
it'll get better. It'll get better, you know, just
Simple and profound.
yeah,
I love that.
don't stress. You're a kid. I wish I got more time to be a kid. Sorry.
That's okay. You want to take a break?
So, no,
You
it's
all right?
okay.
Okay.
So just don't stress about it so much.